What's up, everybody? Welcome into the WolfPack Fantasy Football Podcast. I'm your host, Dylan Clemens. Here with me, as always, are my two co-hosts, Michael Plant and Mike Body. And we are glad to be here today, guys. Back here again. We are bringing
you too, by the way.
Thanks for interrupting me, pal. I appreciate it. We are bringing you an old faces and new places episode, starting with the quarterbacks, all the free agency movers and stuff, guys, and maybe a little bit of trade talk that happened. But first, before we jump into it, I just want you to give you a reminder to please hit the like button. Please subscribe to the Fantasy Six Pack YouTube channel and head on over to fantasy6pack.net/plans and check out our memberships that we got going on over there, guys. We got award-winning top rankings in the fantasy baseball industry. If you're into fantasy baseball, check that out with Keith Lott winning the Fantasy Pros contest last year. Plus, the best part of it is Jordan the Discard, where you can sit there and chat with us about your fantasy baseball teams, fantasy football, dynasty, anything you want. You get direct access to the entire Fantasy Six-Pack team. But what do you say, guys? Let's jump right into things with our first quarterback. And we got Derek Carr leaving the Raiders and going to the New Orleans Saints, guys. I'm going to give you guys both a layup here. Does this help Derek Carr in a fantasy instance at all? Is this going to be the first time he finishes as a quarterback one?
I'm pretty sure he already has, right? Are you sure?
He's never finished. Yeah, he's never finished this one.
What was his highest finish? 13 then?
I go to his highest.
You call me a liar?
We always call you a liar.
I could have swore he finished pretty close to the year before he got Devontae.
Okay, but what is he going to do with the Saints?
His highest finish has been to 271, and that was back in 2015. Typically, QB1s are getting 300 plus.
No, you have to tell me his quarterback rank, not his points.
I understand that.
But anyways, he probably won't be near the top 12 quarterbacks, I would assume.
No chance. His ADP and on Fantasy Pros for their best ball, that combines the four different sites. He's quarterback 18, and I pretty much agree with that. He offers you no rushing floor, nothing like that. He is going to give you some 300, 350-yard games, but nothing that'll...
He never lights you up with a lot of touchdowns, so...
Mm-hmm.
No, I mean, we talked about this a little bit, a couple months back when he first made the move, Dylan, on the F6P news cycle. It's pretty much a lateral move. I mean, he's not going to be doing much better here. I mean, his weapons even the weapons are lateral. I think his weapons were better in New Orleans. In Las Vegas, but he still has good weapons. Good weapons here.
But segueing right into the weapons, guys, I think this does wonders for Chris Olave, moving him up to wide receiver 1 territory. Ike, what's your take on Olave for this year?
He was top 3 in almost every air yard category, and that was with a mix of Andy Dalton and whoever else played for the Saints last year.
Yeah, he had the fourth most deep targets and the 8th most air yards in football.
Okay, so close.
Derek Carr was 5th in air yards, 5th in deep ball attempts, and 2nd in air yards per attempt. So he likes to sling it.
Obviously, he's not going to be doing what Devontae put up with him, but you can expect like a 90 catch year for 1,000 plus yards.
Probably 130, 140 targets, man. I could totally see that. He is going in his best ball ADP right now is wide receiver 15. Mike, do you agree?
The targets might not be that much, depending on Michael Thomas, Kamara, if he misses time or not.
That's the thing. If Michael Thomas can actually come back healthy, he will take some targets just naturally away from Olave.
Yeah, we're not counting on that.
Fellas. But it's the biggest thing that's really, I don't think Olave is going to get that he's going to get vultured in is the red zone targets. I think that's going to be Juwan Johnson. It's going to be Jamal Williams now. We're going to talk about him in a next episode we do. Mm-hmm. But,
depending on Kamara, it would be him.
I think it's just it's going to be kind of a repeat of last year, just maybe a little bit better efficiency. Because it's not Andy Dalton throwing him the ball the entire time. It's Derek Carr. It's going to be a lot of air yards.
Better efficiency, like significant.
I feel like Olave is going to have some boom weeks, guys, where he's just going to win you weeks.
It's just not going to be touchdowns, though, unless it's long touchdowns. Is what
yeah, I agree.
You know what I mean? It's going to be like a 40-yard touchdown, 30-yard touchdown. It's not going to be those red zone touchdowns that you're going to be getting. So I wouldn't be surprised if he only gets like 5 touchdowns and he has like a 1,200-yard season.
Sure, I'd take that.
Now we're going to go ahead and move on now to the next guy. Sorry, guys, these aren't big name guys, but we got Jimmy Garoppolo from the 49ers. He's heading over to the Las Vegas Raiders to take over for Derek Carr. We know Jimmy Garoppolo is not going to be a QB1. He's borderline QB2 territory in a super flex. I'm curious, LaPlante, we'll let you start here. Does this hurt Davante Adams? Does this knock him out of wide receiver 1 territory, or are you still comfortable drafting him late in the first round to mid-second round?
I mean, yeah, that's pretty much where I'm taking it here. It works the same way for Jimmy G and the Raiders here. This is a lateral move. I mean, Derek Carr is, I think, a little bit more talented than Jimmy Garoppolo.
I agree.
But, I mean, really, there's not much of a difference between these guys here. Yeah, we haven't really seen Garoppolo outside of Kyle Shanahan's offense. So I'm kind of curious how he's, what he's going to do in McDaniel's offense, because we saw as it was last year, it kind of sputtered out a little bit. So Jimmy G kind of needs the offensive scheme to help him succeed a little bit more. So I wouldn't be surprised if he actually does a little bit worse than Derek Carr does in the new season. But I'm still taking Davante Adams in the late first, mid-second, because the targets are going to be there. I mean, the offense traded. I mean, McDaniel's traded for Davante Adams last year. They want to use him now. Depends on if Davante Adams wants to play here, because his buddy's Derek Carr is no longer.
Davante will want to play. He'll be okay. I just don't know if I agree with his ADP right now being wide receiver 6 off the board ahead of likes of AJ Brown, CeeDee Lamb, Amon-Ra St. Brown. I think I would definitely rather have AJ Brown and CeeDee Lamb over.
It's because of the consistency, because I still think as good as AJ Brown was, there's a lot of boom and bust weeks there. I mean, with Devontae,
Jimmy G supported Brandon Ayuk a few weeks till he got hurt. I mean, Ayuk was putting up decent numbers.
And honestly, because the biggest thing last year was Josh Jacobs. When Josh Jacobs took over, they didn't need Davante Adams. So I mean, there's going to be some bust weeks there for Davante Adams, but I think there will be some more consistency weeks, compared to a person like AJ Brown. AJ Brown is going to absolutely win you weeks. All right. But I don't know if Davante Adams is going to lose you as many weeks as he did last year. Because I remember Ike was always like, oh my God, how many times is he going to do this to me? But I think
one of them was in the biggest game for most people. Like he put up a 3 or something.
Mm-hmm.
But Davante Adams is still good.
Yeah. And then he mentioned Josh Jacobs. I'm just curious, do you think he can repeat his season from last year where he finished, I want to say, as a top 5 running back? His ADP at best ball right now is running back 9. You think that's fair?
He should be higher than that. He's probably top 5 running back.
Yeah, he's
and he
behind,
showed it last year.
C-Mac, Austin Eckler, Jonathan Taylor, Saquon, Bijan, 5, Derrick Henry, 6, Kenneth Walker, 7, Nick Chubb, 8, Josh Jacobs, 9.
Bijan should not be there.
We'll talk about that once he lands.
You have no idea where he's going.
That's going to be interesting. Yeah, I know people are taking the gamble on it in best ball, though, right now.
I guess.
But, yeah.
I would rather...
Go ahead.
I would definitely rather have him than Nick Chubb.
That's fair.
Because Josh Jacobs actually catches the ball.
Yeah, Jacobs finished as RB3 last year in PPR.
And I'd probably take him over Kenneth Walker, too.
That's interesting.
Seahawks like to throw more. Well, Pete Carroll likes to run, but last year they threw a shit ton with Geno Smith for some reason. So,
yeah, right. But let's go ahead and move on to the next guy here, and pretty much our final quarterback who we're going to talk about. Well, we're really not even going to talk about him. It's Baker Mayfield going from the Panthers and the Rams last year, heading over to the Buccaneers, and he looks like he is QB1 right now. He's not fantasy relevant, guys, but what he is doing for fantasy football is killing the Buccaneers wide receivers, let me tell you. Chris Godwin's ADP wide receiver 28 in best ball right now.
He's killing their ADP. He's killing their ADP. He's not killing the wide receiver themselves.
Sure. Okay. Mike Evans, wide receiver 30. Do you guys like the value on them sitting there? Because that's
Godwin,
pretty good,
yes.
guys, from what
Evans,
we've seen.
I like both of them at the value. I mean, I'm not the first one to say this, in the offseason, but this is going to be the new DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett this year. Nobody wanted them last year when Geno Smith was coming into the year. Their ADPs were just bad, but they still finished as wide receiver 2s, wide receiver 3. I mean, so
I'm going to be honest with you. I don't hate that take, Mike.
It's completely possible for both of them to still finish better than their ADPs. There is value here. It's just I prefer Chris Godwin because of Baker, the quarterback, because Mike Evans is the deep threat and Baker's not that great at throwing deep.
And we've seen the likes of Jarvis Landry smash in the slot spot where Chris Godwin's going to line up. So I can
exactly.
I can for sure.
So I like Chris Godwin a little bit more of a value, but it's still a value for Mike Evans. Yeah, it's still a value for Mike Evans. It's just I prefer Godwin.
Yeah. What's your take here, Ike? I know you didn't. You're
like you said, Baker can only support a wide receiver 1 if it's a slot receiver. So Godwin going wide receiver 28 is actually kind of fantastic. I'd take that any day. Mike Evans,
and like Dylan said,
the ultimate boomer bust player, and that was with Tom Brady.
Yeah.
So now he goes to Baker, who can't support an outside wide receiver, or Kyle Trask, who knows what he can do.
It's just here's the thing. Before Tom Brady got to Tampa Bay, Mike Evans had 4 straight seasons of 1,000+ yards. So, that was with Jameis. So I mean,
Jameis throwing 700 times a game.
Yeah.
I mean,
or 700 times a year. Are they going to throw that much this year?
I could see it happening.
Chance. But I'm sure Mike Evans will give you some boom weeks like he has this whole career, but there's going to be weeks where you got to expect that he's going to give you 0. He's going to give you 2 catches for 21 yards,
honestly,
stuff like that.
The biggest hit here is for the running back, Rachaad White. I mean, because the whole reason the running backs were so valuable in Tampa Bay is because the passing. Tom Brady would dump it off to him, willingness to dump off to the running back.
Which Baker likes to do also.
Kyle Trask would do. It was part of the scheme in Cleveland when he was there. So I don't know if that's necessarily part of Baker's game plan. So that's my only thing is I don't see like Leonard Fournette was getting 70+ catches. I don't see the running back getting up maybe like 40 to 50 this year. Maybe
it's going to be
for one. Leonard Fournette's gone, so
I know, but I'm saying that was the running back that was.
I know, but like, why wouldn't you why would you think Rachaad White's going to do worse when the dude who took his snaps is gone?
They're going to have to draft a running back, right?
But he's
they have been linked to Bijan.
Yeah, because I wouldn't want them to roll with Rachaad White.
They are linked to Bijan. I don't think he lands. It falls to them. He might go to the Falcons. That's a talk for another day. After
they shouldn't do that.
Tyler Algier do last year, right?
Yeah.
But guys, just the last few quarterbacks we have on our list. Andy Dalton going to the Panthers, but he's probably going to get taken over by Bryce Young. And then we got Taylor Heinicke moving from Washington to Atlanta. And it surprised me, and Mike, when it happened, we talked about it. It surprised me that it said he signed to be the backup. When I'm like, that's interesting because he's probably better than Desmond Ridder. So I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that the way that the Falcons have done this offseason by making like win now moves, right? Calais Campbell, a few other guys, some offensive linemen. At some point, Taylor Heinicke is going to be the quarterback of this team because he's going to give them the best chance to make a playoff push in that crap division. Do you guys agree with that or no? No?
I think
it's fine.
I think it's like the signings like Calais Campbell is more for the culture. I think that Arthur Smith is trying to create. Because, I mean, that division's up for grabs.
Definitely. They made a bunch of moves this offseason. I should have brought up the list on the computer, but I don't have anything. But what's your guys' take on Desmond Ridder, I guess? That's you guys think, just real quick.
I think he's fine. They're going to give him a shot the whole time until he does that.
The main reason why Heinicke, from what I heard, signed with the Falcons as a backup is because he's from Atlanta. So, I mean, Atlanta is making it clear that they want to try Desmond Ridder out this year. They want to see what he has, which, I mean, the Buccaneers kind of did that with Trask too, but then they signed Baker. So, I mean, those are the things. I mean, Baker is a former number one overall pick. Taylor Heinicke is a free agent. What was he? A free agent? An NDA? An NDA? No, an NFDA, or where he is a non. He didn't even get drafted.
Undrafted free agent.
Yes, thank you. Undrafted free. Yes, UDFA. So there is a clear talent gap there. All right. So I can understand why it's probably going to be just Baker starting, over Trask there, and then Heinicke's going to be taking the back seat to Desmond Ridder here.
They're going to be running the ball a shit ton, by the way.
That's why I can actually see them if, I don't know if it's.
And Ridder does not turn the ball over.
You think Bijan goes to 8? Because I think the Falcons, they're the big ones that I keep seeing Bijan going to. Because Bijan is just Derrick Henry 2.0 for Arthur Smith.
For me, this has got Jets situation with Zach Wilson all over again, where Zach Wilson's playing so bad and they're in a playoff hunt, they're going to have to sit him for the backup like they did for Mike White.
Well, Desmond Ridder wasn't terrible. He came in. He
wasn't
the last
good.
Game of the year.
He doesn't turn the ball over. He just doesn't score touchdowns.
That's the thing.
He's a game manager,
that's all.
For sure.
That's all Arthur Smith wants. What did he want from Ryan Tannehill? Don't turn the ball over. So if Ridder can accomplish that.
Once he turns the ball over, he'll go to Heinicke. Then once Heinicke starts turning the ball over, he'll go back.
And it's like the Commanders all over again.
Bingo. Taylor Heinicke syndrome.
All right. Well, but that, like I said, that wraps up our quarterbacks. So before we get out of here, guys, just please smash that like button. Please subscribe if you don't already. And then Thursday, our boss, Joe Bond, the Fantasy Pack Hour, is doing their NFL draft show. So come on and tune in. I know I'm going to be on. Ike's going to be on. Michael Plant's producing. I'm sure he's going to be on camera as well.
When are you on?
Check that out. It'll be fun. I'm on at 9:15.
I'm on at 8:15.
Oh, cool.
Or something like that.
Might want to double check.
Yeah, hit that bell so you for notifications, so it notifies you when they go live on Thursday to check it out. It's the perfect second screen experience, guys. It'll be a good time. But yeah, for Mike and Ike, I'm Dylan. We'll catch you next time.
Adios.